James Wilson here, myfitnessmap.com. I had a really good question today that I see pretty regularly. This individual, she says, "Hey James, I really want to increase my muscle and lose body fat at the exact same time. What's the best way to go about accomplishing this?" And the truth of it is, it's pretty counterintuitive for our bodies to increase and decrease at the exact same time. So, our fat and our muscle, they're two completely different substances. You can't turn fat into muscle, and muscle doesn't turn into fat. So let me explain things a little bit further. Even though you may want to increase muscle and lose fat, our bodies structurally are geared completely opposite of that. Through every generation of time, our ancestors, they didn't know when their next meal was going to happen. So with muscle, it requires more calories to be maintained. So our bodies are only going to try to maintain the muscle that it sees as necessary for survival so that we can go hunt, chase, or gather whatever nutrition that we could get our hands on. On the flip side, because we're constantly in this famine mode and we don't know exactly what our next meal is, if we were to stumble upon this gold mine of calories, our body is going to store as much as possible because, again, it doesn't know when our next meal is going to happen, and so we're constantly in this famine state. So our bodies are always looking to shed muscle and always looking to increase body fat stores. And that's just so that we can survive. Muscle first. If gaining muscle was so easy, then why isn't every single guy so much bigger than they are? Because our body doesn't want muscle. That is why. And it's constantly on a hunt to strip muscle. Evidence of this: if you were to break your arm or your leg, the muscle that's surrounding the bone or the joint of the break, when it is put in a cast, you're not able to use that, and so those muscles very rapidly atrophy. But again, once that cast is removed and you start using those muscles, then your body then quickly adapts and increases that because it feels, hey, we need this for survival. But it's always going to fight you in trying to increase that. So you have to place yourself under very stressful situations with resistance training to be able to increase that. And then again, you have to have the nutrition to allow for that muscle to increase, or you're not going to see an increase in muscle. Body fat, our bodies do not want to reduce fat because, again, that's how we've been able to survive. When we don't have food, then your body has the fat to be able to survive off of, but it also has muscle tissue that it's going to be like, yes, let's take that first, and then we'll pull from the fat stores. So, really, can you gain and can you lose at the exact same time? And initially, yes, you can. If you've been deconditioned, you've been injured, or you haven't been resistance training or exercising at all, or let's say you're one of those individuals that you have been exercising, but you're one of those that you're on a machine and you're scrolling your Instagram, or you're playing Words with Friends, or you're texting, you're not really getting the benefit of your training. So once those individuals get onto a more structured routine or a program that has some intensity to that, then initially you may see a little bit of a fat loss and a slight increase in your muscle. And that's just because your body is adapting to the new changes. But even though that fat is decreasing initially, it starts to kind of level out. And same thing with the muscle. Though you were seeing some strength increases initially, that too levels out. And from there, that's when you get the wonderful decision to decide what is more important. So you have muscle gains and you have fat loss, and you really want to, for best results, you need to dedicate one or the other. And here's the pros and cons to both. With a muscle gain, you obviously need to increase your calories, and you want your intensity to be high so that your body's able to build muscle. But often with a muscle gain, you're going to see a little bit of fat storage, and that's just because you have to have those extra calories so that your body has the nutrition to be able to increase muscle. The goal there, obviously, is to be able to increase as much muscle as possible while keeping fat as minimal as possible. And on the flip side with fat loss, as you are in a caloric deficit and you're reducing body fat, even if you are pushing like mad, your body is likely going to strip some muscle in the process. So with that one, obviously you want to reduce as much body fat as possible while maintaining as much muscle as you possibly can. And that is going to be done through very intense resistance training so that your body sees that muscle as necessary for survival, and through keeping your nutrition structured. And when I say that with your nutrition, be consistent, be very consistent. I mean, if you look at scientists, they try to control as many variables as possible so that they know exactly what to do to get the desired results. So if you're not monitoring your nutrition and you're just eating whatever, whenever, you're not going to see the progress that you want. Where if you are very structured with your food and you're eating consistently and you're eating portions that are consistent, then you'll have a better understanding about, okay, well, these are the changes that I'm seeing in the mirror and on the scale or circumference measurements or my body fat, whatever way you choose to track. Then you know, okay, well, I'm losing too fast because my strength is decreasing, so I need to slightly increase my calories, or I'm not losing at all, I need to slightly reduce calories, so that you see that kind of progress. Or if it's a muscle gain, hey, I'm putting on too much fluff, I need to taper back my calories just a little bit. Or hey, I'm pushing but I'm not gaining anything, so again, slight increases. So consistency there is key. So either way, whether it's muscle gain or fat loss, lift as if you want to gain as much muscle as possible, because that ultimately is going to either increase or maintain the muscle that you do have and keep body fat either at bay, or you're going to see the reduction in body fat and less reduction in the muscle mass. So hope this helps, and we'll catch you later.